Good evening. Don't see anybody around, and I don't blame them. Might not be the best topic I have in a while, but I'm going to be doing a short one tonight. Just a couple of rounds of some photos I took on a typical Amtrak trip home. Some photos in Baltimore where I was staying at the time. Went up the NEC, took PATCO home to my parents' house. Pretty basic. I'm going to get going here. This is the old westbound home signal at CP Huntington Ave, which is about a half block from my apartment. And this is right after I sort of got my new upgraded camera that let me zoom in way closer. This was unfortunately re-signaled in the 2012 time frame. I snuck down there at one point and got some photos of it, but not much has gone on really since. I mean, they put in a dwarf that got crushed, and then another one. But this can display everything, including medium, approach, medium, and approach, medium. Well, those, because this was back to back with Mount Royal. There was no intermediate signal between here and the siding. Sorry, this is the start of the siding. So trains could go over, do a one-block siding, then pull back over at Mount Royal, which was in the old Mount Royal station, which was at the directionally north end of the Howard Street Tunnel. It was mounted in this little bracket right inside the tunnel entrance right there. Not sure what it's. Oh yeah, it was approachlet, which was sort of a double-edged sword. Be nice if it was telling you the train was there, but you'd also know when a train had just gone by, when it would display a stop indication, and then it would go out when the train left the block. This going here. Come on. Oh, you should have tested this out before. There it goes. Second photo is going to be the same as the first. Same topic, just a vertical orientation with the little ladder there. So this is sort of a filler day. I'll be back for most of the Christmas week, doing a whole week of these. Probably some stuff on the Port Road and on the PR main line in in Amish country. Need to make sure that I'm because I do have more photos of this. This is in 2008. So here we have the Huntington Ave signal location. The whole stuff was generally modern CTC. That had undergone a couple of stuff, but it was all plowed over for PTC zone. These tubes are critical East Coast fiber optic links. You can see how they're sort of exposed like this. These were notably damaged in the Howard Tunnel fire of the early 2000s, and it cut off East Coast internet for a bit. By this point in time, they probably weren't that important, as a lot more fiber had been laid. But it was always there, sort of spilling over. Um, here we go. Next. This is the other end of the interlocking. Despite it being fairly close by, I didn't really get down here that much. Again, I got photos before it went away. But this is the other side of Huntington Ave. Before it cuts, this is on what they called the Baltimore Beltline. It was built in the 1890s to allow the B&O to get north out of the city, or east out of the city, to reach Philadelphia. And to do so, it had to sort of get up. Baltimore always had bad geography. That's why the railroad went in. And the B&O originally escaped by going pretty much south out of the city, then curving up the Patapsco River Valley. The PR pretty much went the same way. Going north or east out of this, however you want to define it, going out of the city, was always a bit harder. That's why the PR has all those tunnels through town. The B&O would go on a tunnel, graded tunnel up under Huntington Ave, and then sort of went up and around through a series of tunnels and cuts on the north side of the city, or not north side, but north of downtown. And this is where the electrification was put in due to the stiff grades involved in numerous tunnels. In fact, this area is about where the helper, the whatchamacallits, the electric engines would cut off around here. But if we go to the terrain view, you can see how that line got out of here, because it was having to cut across sort of drainage fingers and whatnot. The fall line is immediately effectively at downtown, or where the thing is. These photos were taken in June of 2008. These signals have the full round. That means they can display restricting. Not completely uncommon, but by this day, in this age of the B&O, it wasn't. Typically, the CSX with stuff around here was typically you going with stop and proceeds instead of restrictings. Not a lot of movements would use the siding here, although it was definitely possible. This is the main track mast. Interior of the siding. This one can display, medium speed things. These are pretty new signals. You can see that's the newest form of aluminum pole and junction box. So these definitely went before their time in 2012. These probably were put in the 80s or 90s. Also at this location, that fence over there, cars that were pulled out of the Baltimore tunnel fire sat at this location well into the maybe even into the 2010s. They were stuck there for insurance purposes. They couldn't be moved until the insurance company had gone through all the stuff. This is the siding signal. Oh. Oops. Oh, that's right. This is the siding track. Next. Here we have the same sort of thing, but also including the interlocking. It looks like there used to be a siding track there. I mean, non-interlocked dump siding or something there. The siding was used. I just rarely would see it. I would rarely see movements into it, either with from the other end for a medium clear. Or only saw a medium approach like once. So Baltimore had this cute little police box thing. I'm surprised it never got Doctor Who'd, but over the time, I never ever saw a cop in it. And as soon as phones became a thing, the phone wasn't really used. And it got taken over by the Artscape crew, and it's now like full of like a mosaic. It's kind of neat, but from for a Doctor Who enthusiast, it's definitely cool. Like I had a Doctor Who friend, like, you have a police box? Yeah, like the Doctor Who people would notice it, but it never really got used. It was located just shy of Penn Station here at this corner. You can see it's all artified right now. That was artified between 2017 and 2014. Oh, here's the same picture. Just practically the same time that I took it in July. I don't know which alley this is. It's got to be close, but I don't know which one it is. Oh, I bet I know, actually. I bet it's right nearby. This one? No. That's not even close. I didn't go down there yet. I've walked through there a whole bunch. Yeah, I don't know which alley this is. Huh, there's McDonald's there. I kind of knew that, but I didn't do a lot of exploring in my whoa, they've really bike lane-ified the heck out of that. Ugh. Yeah, it's increasingly difficult to drive in the city with them adding pedestrian and bike infrastructure. All the old tricks that used to work don't quite as much anymore. And the timings are all absolutely garbage. This is probably downtown. In fact, I wonder if it's around Mount Vernon. I wonder if it's that one right there. Boom. That's it. I knew it because of the church. And the scenario where I would catch shuttle buses. Cute little street. Branch Lane. For the record, if you see the setting sun there, Baltimore does have a henge, Baltimore henge, where it does align with the street grid. I can't exactly tell you what time of the year it is. I mean, it's like in September or whatnot. But it does have a, and I would notice it, but I would never really have my camera or something on it. I always forget until it's sort of too late. What did I say? Branch Lane. It's going to be westward. Okay, now we've transitioned to the northeast quarter part of the evening. This is where I swivel about in my chair and try to figure out where I've put my track diagram. Here it is. Oh no! This is my New Jersey Transit track diagram. That only covers the northern part of the NEC. Do I have an Amtrak one? I think I do. Well, I know what this is. This is Bush interlocking. Right after they added the new high-speed turnout, and they refreshed the signal bridge. This switch, though, is interesting because in this area, the center tracks between Havre de Grace and the Grace and Bush are numbered 2, 3, and 4, and to the south they're numbered 2 and 3. So here you would have a switch, or sorry, this is track 4, 2, sorry, 4, 3, 2. You think it'd be 1, 2, 3, but it's not. And this track will become, so going straight, you're going track 4 to 3. So this switch is the 33 switch because it goes from track 3 to track 3 over a diverging high-speed move. Fun fact, I was on the Amtrak today and they'd reversed the train set, so I actually got a view out the back. One of the few times. It's been happening more often since they put the reverse seats in. You can actually get views out the back when they quick turn trains. They'll put a new engine on the front. Even if they don't do push-pull, they'll just slap a new engine right on the front and pull it out of DC. I don't think I've ever gotten a north. I think you only will get south-facing views out the back. So you'll get, yeah, southbound signals. And then here we have the new northbound signals with a clear indication on track 2. Osprey love to build their nests on this signal structure. Also, you can tell these have that weird, what's with that weird lower head of just the approach slash. That's because it's a high-speed turnout. The best for a straight-ahead move for a diverging, that means your 3 indications are going to be clear approach, stop. Then instead of a medium clear, you get a flashing cab speed. But if you're diverging to a stop, then you get medium approach again. You don't get like cab 60 diverging, some sort of cab 60, high speed approach. There we go. That looks better. A little soft, though. And the last of this set, I'm on a PATCO train with the original retro interior, which was kept up until the rebuilding in 2016. No, 2018. I'm sorry. That's when the last car left service. I love these seats. I love this look. Oh, they should have kept it. I don't know where. They must have just had a supply of this upholstery because they never changed it. It was amazing. The biggest thing that I miss, I'm on PATCO a bunch, is that they had that electronic bell noise they replaced the actual bells with. Come on, man, just use a bell. It's very distinctive. Hey. Oh, someone's Rule 281C, eh? What is that, limited clear? Well, welcome to the chat. I got one more thing. It's a short session today. So we have this. Can I not get the car number? Oh, I can't. Just not quite detailed enough. I think I had the camera down on the floor or the seat trying to take I might have been trying to do a timed exposure, I'm not sure. Oh, I love this interior. So here I just took some PATCO railfan window views out the back. and I should know what these signals all are. The whole CTC and signal diagram is in Bill Vigras's book, but you can also they are also number plated, so you can just write it down yourself. I made my own diagrams actually at one point. They're up on nycsubway.org. They're very MS Paint, but they get the point across. I have a better set of Market Frankfurt lines in its original signaled configuration. I did that by bringing a old school cassette recorder and talking into it softly as we went along. I consider that to be a very effective method. Way faster than trying to write, and a cassette tape uses way less, stuff than a phone, and doesn't care if you run it for an hour. Oh, good. I even remember the switch machines. The switch that I'm going, one of these two, I think it's this one, is PATCO's only limited speed turnout, or number 20 for lay people. So I believe that you will get a 40 code diverging on it. Although, I think you normally get a 40 code. I'm not sure what... I can't remember. So I know the Ferry Avenue you diverge over 30. I thought that there are other ones where you diverge over a 40 as well. A rapid transit car can easily take a number 15 turnout at 40 miles an hour, I'm sure, but... funny that PATCO is east and west, even though the railroad that was built on was north-south. In fact, the Atlantic City line today is still north-south. Here's an interesting thing that I never noticed as a kid. PATCO, in addition to having, and I believe it has an absolute block clear, but it also had a signaled reverse running indication of green, where it was an absolute block. What was it? It was basically like manual block clear, but not the way like for cab signal failure type of thing. I'm not entirely sure how it worked. It's in the PATCO rule book. I have it somewhere. The last one was actually only removed somewhat recently. You could get a green signal coming out of that little MOW yard under the Ben Franklin Bridge to go between there and City Hall. It was before, apparently the line was not fully Rule 261 reverse signaled. I saw these signs up in the 90s saying FTA funding reverse signal project. I'm like, what do you mean reverse signal? Like PATCO runs reverse all the time. I'm not entirely sure what was going on. I do remember them going, wrong railing a lot. But that presence of that green light signal implies that they had something that was, maybe that was their absolute block clear. Now that I think about it, because I know Metro North has a weird one, but I've been sort of told that like they have something with like the white and red alternating flashing. I gotta ask someone on that. It might have been the green, and I'm just thinking of it wrong. Here's the 54 and 55 signal. The PATCO is numbered as a unified CTC project, with the number 1 switch and the 2 signal being at 15th, 16th, and going all the way to some stuff in the 70s at Lindenwold. And then when they built in Woodcrest, they built a bunch of stuff in the 90s around Woodcrest. And it was all on a USNS type of CTC machine. So you have the Collingswood station. These were again redone in the 1990s, and they've just been redone now to get the ADA going. These, although they are high level, they were not built with elevators. They were built with escalators, which at the time would have been very good for most mobility people, mobility impaired folks. Here at Ferry Avenue. Oops, did I skip? Did I cut this? I don't know, maybe. Ferry Ave, if they don't have it now, they even up and through the 90s, they would run one Ferry Avenue train. And they would also store a train at Ferry Ave during the day. That made it easier for them to surge train sets into Philadelphia to keep up their very high frequency in the peak periods. Because of just cuts and whatnot, the frequency has gone down, so I'm not sure if they need to do that anymore. I know they don't run that Ferry Avenue train. Ferry Avenue, in the late 60s, this area of the hinterlands of Camden would have been a quite... Camden, although it's turned into an absolute shithole, it was very working class. Up until the 1970s. My parents lived there until about 1970, until some point in the early 1970s. And the point where Ferry Avenue is right on the border of sort of the high density of what I'll call suburban Camden and Collingswood. So it was almost seen. It has an inordinately large lot, its own fare zone. At the time, this is where the people were. And I don't necessarily think you can say that anymore. Although I'm sure a lot of folks, at it being a different fare zone, I'm sure that they will get people driving into that area to avoid it. To pay the cheaper fare. I'd show you where it is if it came. Well, I'm going to be in the Ferry Avenue interlockings here, so. I don't know my PATCO interlockings. There we go. Go away. So Ferry Ave is located right here at the edge of Collingswood. It's right off of Route 30. At the time, the interstate it did exist, but it didn't exist all the way. Like 295 was not full. It just did a little bits and pieces here and there. The turnpike was in. So Route 130 was still your major route. This whole thing of Pennsauken Township and this part of Camden, this is where my parents were still, working class, industrial, whatnot. And Ferry Ave was with its sizable lots, was built to filter all of this stuff in. You can see how the lots sizes compare to some place like Collingswood or Westmont or Haddonfield. The lot is absolutely gigantic. And that was, again, to filter it. Now, today, half the Camden has just been demolished and is fields and whatnot. So, that's new. That whatever used to be there. I guess also I should look into this. This was like industrial buildings. Hey, I was right. It was an industrial site. I remember I would see this. Sorry, I'm just checking a thing. Oh, I guess that is a school. Wow. Well, there's some turnaround for you. So you have the 47E switch and the Ferry Avenue station there. Here we have Ferry Avenue interlocking. This was converted. It used to just be a single Y track to go into that thing, and they made it into a full crossover by added maintenance away pocket track. All these wooded poles were later replaced by weirdo fiberglass things. I've never seen them used anywhere else. This indicates it was likely a kickback favor to some local business establishment in southern New Jersey. Apparently, at the time, these were like the most unstable poles. The pole line was original in 1969, and there was some in here that had like bracings because they were about to fall over. There we go. Here we have mill interlocking. This is on the Vineland secondary at the time. This siding exists, signaled siding with this between here and CP Brown, and then the signaling would continue to CP Woodbury. Today, that signaling goes all the way down the Penns Grove secondary to Paulsboro. This was re-signaled in the early 2000s. It used to be position lit. Sorry, in the early, about 2000, let's say 5 or so. This is going to be the 2S signal. Oops, looks like I mixed something up here. Huh, I have a missing photo. So this is going to be the 46 signal. Go to my other PATCO photos here. This is my PATCO map. Come on. That's the 40R. That's going to be the 41 switch, 43 switch, 47, 49. Don't know why this got skipped. Sorry, just checking for something here. R, 44R. And our last two. So here's a thing that comes up a bunch. When I say that like Amtrak today is much better than it used to be, here's a visual example of why. Amtrak was not only had didn't have the ridership it has today. It was also having issues with equipment failures, and in this case, you can just see how much they'd given up. They had a very high fare model. Today I can go to Philly. With dynamic pricing, I can get to Philly literally for $2.70. And at this point, the cheapest I could get it maybe was like 31 with a weird sale fare. And you can see all these AM fleets were just stored out of service. This is a lot of them. Regionals were 6 cars. That's not just the Vermonter. That is like most of them were just 6 to 8 cars. Today they're 9 to 11. They were running very short consists. And the last photo is just another example of that. There's the Y. Somewhere in this near ground, there's a diamond there. I'm not going to go and pull it up. There's the cat car maintenance vehicle. And yeah, just a lot of those back in there. Well, that's it. I told you it was not a big thing. Is there any more? Oh shit, we do have questions. Which one's West Linden? Yeah, those chimes are just awful. Oh, West Lindenwold, duh. Yeah, I need to go and refactor how I do the signals and the nomenclature for all that. I never the diagrams provided by in the book don't have the interlocking names. They just have the numbers. Yep. Okay, so I knew the one with two switches are 40. Okay, and they will give a 40 code. Okay, that's cool. That makes sense at Lindenwold too, that they're going to have one of them there be a 40 mile an hour coming out. All right, that makes sense. In fact, I could probably just go and figure. Oh wait, my thing isn't even close to being close to Philly, unless it is. No, it's in Baltimore. Oh no, it's in Joliet. Wait, why is wood interlocking in? Why would that be in Westmont? Yeah. Do you know why the interlocking at Westmont is wood? Yeah, it's interesting. Also, they use two switch machines. I mean, you don't have to. The freight railroads rarely do. I'm guessing that they just have to throw them a lot, and they just want to cut down on the time. Oh yeah, there it is. So I guess the normal operation is for inbound trains to cross over and then they come out on a straight shot. That makes sense. They're already slowing for the station. I have to dig out that timetable to find what that green absolute block signal was. Either way, I'll go and I'll make adjustments to that. I guess I can just do it starting now. I think this car is 293. If I go back, I had to go look that up. All right. Oh, Collingswood. Oh, I get. Cause I always think Wood and Woodcrest. You couldn't have called it Collings. All right. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate that I got the PATCO guy on the night that I'm doing the PATCO stuff. I guess I did put PATCO stuff, but it's not a very big set. So I will be tuning out, and I will be back next week with a whole bunch of stuff. I'll try to announce it on the channel what I'm going to be doing. Likely going to try to be finishing up 2007 with this is a 4 set of stuff from the Harrisburg area, or stuff that includes the Port Road. That's a 4-day one, and the Port Road is 5 days, 5+. So we'll see how that goes. A lot of fun stuff on both of them. Yeah, I figured that Woodcrest is going to be Crest if Wood was already taken. All right, see yas. I'm out of here.